All right, everybody. Welcome to week 4 of the box score. We are live. Connor with Remo, Aidan, and Danko. Guys, how we doing?
Yeah, we're doing pretty good today. I know I am. I know Remo. It's a big day for Remo. Him and his girlfriend, 3-year anniversary. Let's give it up for Remo and his girlfriend Izzy. Congrats.
Thank you very much, Aiden. It means a lot. It really does.
I know you guys are far away, but I'm sure you'll celebrate when you get home. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know you're getting at.
We were talking about this before the show started. Me and my girlfriend, if the viewers don't know, I don't know who watches the show. I don't know if you know me or not. We dated for a year, broke up, started dating again. I don't know when our anniversary is. We don't know. We talked about it, me and her, and we don't know what day we got back together. So we're coming up on 2 years technically, I guess, but I have no idea. And I know actually all 4 of us are in relationships right now, right?
Yeah, well, funny thing about anniversaries, my girlfriend's birthday and anniversary match up. So it's a 2-for-1, and Valentine's Day and her birthday match up.
That's a lot of gifts.
That could be good or bad. That could be good or bad.
I think that's great.
It makes it count for double. So
Or 2 birds, 1 stone type of thing, right?
Yeah, you combine all the gifts into one. Like, that's perfect. It's brutal for me. Like, it goes, our anniversary is right now, then next month is Christmas, and then the month after that, it's her birthday. So, and then Valentine's Day is the next month. Like, it's brutal. It's really just a terrible stretch right there. I mean, it's a great stretch. It's a great stretch, but
Yes. Excellent.
brutal.
Funny story today. I was at Target. No, yesterday. I was at Target. I just stopped in. I was looking for some golf balls. She loves Target. My girlfriend loves Target. She says, "Get me something."
every girl loves Target.
So she says, "Get me something," right? So I'm
That's true.
like, "Okay, I'll get you something." Walk around the store a couple times, didn't find anything. Then I come upon this $3 Santa Claus soap dispenser. I'm like,
What could go wrong?
Perfect.
$1 soap dispenser at Christmas time. I'm gonna get it. I send her a picture. She says, "You know what she says? I don't want it. I don't want it." I was shocked.
I really like Mia. She's a great person, great girlfriend to you. That's ignorant right there.
Dang.
Yeah,
I was upset. I was really, it hurt. I acted cool. I was like, "Hey," I was like, "Fine." I was like, "I'm going to use it for myself." Deep down, I was like,
Ow.
I can't believe she would do that to you. I mean, that's brutal, man.
Another thing I can't believe, the massacre that happened on Sunday night. We talked
Aiden,
I know
butt
you can't
on
believe
Sunday
it.
night, a 38-3 loss. I'm going to start with you on that. After dissecting it a couple of days, what do you have to say about that game?
Let me just say, I was watching it with my dad, and after seeing what Russ did, I thought, hey, it's a chance for Tom to make some noise. But I'm not going to lie, he looked horrible. I love them. I love him. He looked horrible. But it's not just all on him. I don't know what the hell the coaching staff was doing. They ran the ball 5 times. That's a NFL record low. The defense is typically good. They couldn't stop anybody. They couldn't stop. It was Swiss cheese. Drew Brees, who, let's be honest, I know I hate him, but he's not what he used to be. Regardless of opinion, he's not. He looked like vintage Drew Brees against his defense. I was outraged. I think the Bucs will be back, but it was brutal.
I think.
Let me just say,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Remo.
all right. Let me just say, I am so happy this happened because, all I hear about from Aiden every week is, Bucs, best team in the NFL. And he hates the Saints. So this is a 2-for-1 right here. Like,
It was an upsetting night, to say the least.
38-3? That's unbelievable. And I think there's 2 things that played a role in that. Well, there's many things, but 2 major things that I saw. One, the Saints changed up their game plan. If you watch them against the Bears and pretty much the whole season in general, Drew Brees constant screens every single play. They weren't really doing that against the Bucs. Brees was actually throwing it a little bit downfield, more intermediate passes, and I think that exposed what the Bucs were doing on defense. And I feel like that was a huge factor in that game. And the Bucs were trying to play like this little cover 2 on defense. It just wasn't working. So, and I think the Saints had a great game plan to counter that. It worked perfect.
I got a few points about this game. First of all, Bruce Arians is a full-blown idiot. He is so incompetent. He wears a stupid little beret. The Bucs game plan, Tom Brady, he doesn't throw the ball down the field. He can on certain plays, but that's after you get the run game going and then you throw in the play action. They're not going to win a game if they're only running the ball 5 times. It's not going to happen. I mean, AB looked okay out there, but the way that they're using their receivers and the way that the offense is working, they just can't get anything from it. And on the defensive side of the ball, Todd Bowles, coming from a Jet fan, Todd Bowles, he can only be a good defensive coordinator until halfway through the season. And after that, he starts falling apart.
We'll see.
And
It's one game. It's one game.
the way that the Saints chopped him up, and you could be like, oh, Michael Thomas came back. Emmanuel Sanders looked just as good as Thomas out there. I don't think Thomas really made the Saints go through the roof or anything.
I think that Drew Brees threw to 9 different receivers by the second quarter.
I was just about to mention that. Breeze, that was a great job spreading the ball all around. That is another thing. Like, the Bucs had no answers for that. Like, you don't know who's going to get the ball. Like, Marquez Callaway's getting the ball, and you're like, what do we do? Like, this guy's, like, unknown.
Who the hell's the guy out of Dayton who caught the touchdown? Like, what's going on here?
Personally, I think the Saints just have the Bucs number. I don't know if this has anything to do with, like, I don't know. I just think that Sean Payton has Bruce Arians' number. Danko, you said it best. He's a bona fide idiot. And you know what he did yesterday in his press conferences, or today? He blamed it all on Tom. He took no credit. And he's blaming his quarterback that has turned his team from a 7-9 team to a possible NFC Championship Super Bowl contender. And he's trashing him to the media? Come on, Bruce.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. As much as I hate Tom Brady, that was not Tom Brady's fault. It's all the coaching.
He didn't play well. I'm not going to defend that, but I agree.
I mean, obviously, this pretty much takes Brady out of the MVP race right there. You know, he was doing great before that, but there's obviously – at least you're not blind to the fact that he was horrendous that game. But then again, the whole team was terrible. I mean –
Well, I personally, I don't think any of the interceptions were necessarily on him. Like, let's look at the first one. It was tipped. Unlucky. Second one, miscommunication with a new receiver. Third one, fourth down. Yes, it looked really ugly, but it was either that or get sacked. Either way, they're losing the ball. Which fourth down was Mahomes. I just want to go into another quarterback, into a little MVP talk. His only interceptions on a fourth down. I mean, the man's been amazing. Obviously, the MVP thus far, I would say. I don't know if you guys agree.
I mean, I'm still a little bit torn between him and Russ, but Mahomes, the stats are better, and his team is looking better than the Seahawks all around. I would also have to go. I think after this past week, Mahomes surpasses Russ here, so I would have to agree with that. Like, he's having a dominant season. Everyone's just talking about Russ. Nobody's talking about Mahomes. I don't really get that.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're both great quarterbacks, but unless Russ can pick himself up and start not throwing turnovers and losing the ball, then he could have a chance to come back. But I will say that a dark horse for MVP is Dalvin Cook. When he is on the field and the Vikings, they're churning along, they can be a playoff team. They can sneak into the playoffs and cause some damage with Dalvin Cook in the backfield.
You know me and Dalvin. I love Dalvin. And if you think about it, they dominated the first half against the Seahawks. And then Dalvin got hurt, and they ended up losing that game. Who knows? If he stayed healthy, I think they would have just been able to grind the ball out and win. I don't know if it'll happen because he's a running back, and they only have 3 wins right now. But, you know, if they end with 8-9 wins, I wouldn't discount it.
Let's actually shift into that a little more. Dalvin Cook is obviously one of the best running backs in the league, and we're going to get into that debate right now. I'm going to start with Remo. Remo, who do you think is the best running back in the league currently after Week 9?
Okay, well, here's the way I look at it. All right, Dalvin is having the most productive season, and you could definitely argue quite possibly the best season overall. You know, with the way he's played, I'm not going to deny that Dalvin is unbelievable. But it kind of, in a way, reminds me of how Russ was having a better season than Mahomes up until last week. So, but nobody would say Russ is a better quarterback than Mahomes, okay?
Yeah, I heard Danko last week say Russ was the best football player in the world. People were saying
that's ridiculous.
He is the best football player in the world. If you put Russ on the Chiefs roster, he's playing better than Mahomes.
That's besides the point. I'm still trying to make –
Russ has nothing to work with. We can't get it.
Either way, even if Russ was to go on and win MVP, listen, if Russ was to go on and win MVP, I and most people would probably still take Mahomes over him because he's a better overall quarterback. If Dalvin Cook ends up, staying consistent and having a more productive season than Derrick Henry this year for the first time in his career, by the way, then I would still take Derrick Henry over him because he's a better overall running back. I don't – this is a great season for Cook, okay? Derrick Henry is better. He's the most dominant running back in the game, and I don't see anything to dispute that.
I think you're blinded. You're blinded by the muscles and the height. That's
A lot of people are blinded by that.
People say that about me, actually, that they're blinded by my muscles. That's a different.
I have to admit, I
for
kind of am, yeah.
But that being said, if you watch Dalvin run, he's quicker than Henry. He's more elusive than Henry. The only thing, he can catch the ball and make plays better than Henry. The only thing that Henry has is, fine, if on a 4th down and 1, who am I choosing to run the ball to get me that 4th down conversion? I'll take Henry because he can get in there with the big boys and move it around. But if you watch Dalvin this season, he has looked a million times better than Henry. I just want to look. I want to look. Danko, you can go. I want to bring up a stat in a sec. I got to find it real quick.
Yeah, no, I think it's got to be Dalvin. I mean, pure runner-wise, you could say it's Henry, but I think Henry's just too one-dimensional. And Henry's lucky he's on the Titans, because if Henry was on the Vikings, he would not be putting up Dalvin's numbers right now.
Actually, I think the Titans are lucky they have Henry, because without him, they would not be a contender in the AFC, okay? I mean, I think he carries his team more than anybody does. I mean, is there any debating that? I don't think –
He does, but I just think that part of being a great running back is being able to catch the ball. I mean, that's what makes McCaffrey so good. You can argue the whole true runner thing. But if I'm picking a team of who do I want, like, best running back, I'm not going to pick Henry. It's going to be McCaffrey or Alvin or Cook. It's not going to be Henry.
Thank you, Danko. And to that point, to your point of who the Titans are contenders, who have the Titans really beaten? One, that's another conversation for another time. Dalvin single-handedly beat Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Single-handedly.
He didn't single-handedly beat them. The defense
he had
had
4
stop
touchdowns.
No,
and
yeah,
250 scrimmage
right.
yards.
He single-handedly carried the offense, but we can't say he single-handedly beat them because
The first player in NFL history to score on his team's first 4 possessions.
He had an incredible game. Okay,
And then he rushed for 206 and 2 touchdowns.
But this is the thing though. Derrick Henry runs for over 200 yards against the Texans with 3 touchdowns. Okay, and we don't even talk about that. Even though
Texans aren't nearly as good as the Packers.
No, but that's the thing. The Packers' defense sucks. They're probably worse than the Texans' defense.
No,
they're probably around the same. But they're both terrible defenses. Not discounting either one of them, though. That's what I'm saying. You can't argue. I don't think you can argue that.
I just want to read this stat because you're all about touchdowns. Dalvin's got him beat 12-8. Okay. Yards, Dalvin has him beat, but not only yards. Because you could say, oh, who cares? Yards per carry. Dalvin is averaging 6 yards a carry to Derrick Henry's 4.6. And you know who has a higher yards per carry than that of Derrick Henry? Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Clyde, a 5'10", 7 menace, has a higher yards per carry than your man Derrick Henry.
Listen,
my case.
No. The biggest reason for that is because I believe this is true. Derrick Henry has the most carries in the league by far. So when you're getting fed, 25 to 30 times a game, sometimes the team, everyone knows what the Titans are doing. They're load the box on them. At least the Vikings have a little bit they don't run it as much. No, listen.
I'm worried about Kirk Cousins. I'm sorry.
No, I know. I understand that, okay? But the Titans run it more. They're more predictable, in my opinion. Kirk Cousins at least still tries to pass it down the field. Not very well, by the way. But all the Titans do is either give to Derrick Henry or play action off of that, pass to A.J. Brown. That's all they do. And it's so predictable at this point, which could really hurt them. And honestly, that's why I think Derrick Henry is better than Dalvin Cook, because if you're picking a team right now, Cook hasn't even played a full season yet, okay? He hasn't. Henry is at least durable, and he can last full seasons, and there is nothing to dispute that. And he can carry the load without getting injured, okay?
If I'm building a team right now, I'm taking Dalvin.
But
Can
are
we
you going to trust a guy who he can't play a full season?
Let's go around and see. We each got one running back. Who we taking to build a team? I'm taking Dalvin.
Henry.
Probably Dalvin. I'll agree.
Yeah, probably Dalvin too, honestly.
See,
But this is the thing, though. Like, this is all a recency thing. Like, last year, everyone would have said either Henry or McCaffrey. So it's like when Cook stops putting up these numbers, people are going to stop arguing that. Like, that will happen, and Henry will not stop producing. That's my argument.
Because the Vikings last year chucked the ball downfield a lot more than they are now, so his numbers aren't going to be as high. They were less reliant on Dalvin, and his numbers were still pretty damn good. But they had Diggs and Thielen. Not saying that Jefferson is not really good, but they did throw the ball a lot more than they do now. So
I disagree. I think it was about the same because when you look at Kirk Cousins' passing last year, it was the lowest amount of attempts he's ever had in his career. In a full season, I'm pretty sure. And
this year is going to be less because he just threw 14 times.
It will be less, yeah.
14 times against the Packers and 20 times against the whoever they just beat. I don't even
But if we're gonna bring up last year, I mean, Derrick Henry. If we're talking all about, obviously Cook has the better stats this year. Last year, Henry beat him by 400 rushing yards, and I don't know how many touchdowns Cook had, but Henry had 16, so he beat him there. And the playoffs, Cook didn't necessarily show up. Henry did. He carried his team to the AFC Championship. So
again, yes. If you asked me this question last year, I'll take it. I'm still not taking it.
You would have said Cook. You would have said Cook.
You just almost correct yourself. I would say there's a lot of reasons.
I would have said McCaffrey. I'm not taking. In no world am I taking Cook because he can't catch. He doesn't. He's not a threat to catch the ball.
Cook or Henry? I think
Henry.
Oh, okay. I was a little bit confused.
Yeah.
Well, we could chalk this up to mostly recency bias, but I do think Cook is the better athlete.
I agree.
Yeah, so
down the stretch. I mean, there's still a lot of season left.
A lot of football to be played, Remo. A lot of football to be played.
Yep.
So we're going to shift from running backs to receivers. And Denko, I want to start with you on this one because you arguably have the best receiver on your fantasy team. So I want to hear what you have to say about.
I appreciate you bring that up because my man, Devontae Adams, is a gift from God. I will say I did prefer when he didn't have the long hair sticking out of the back, but nevertheless,
he's some swag. I like it.
Okay, maybe it's a little swaggy. But I will say that although he does have Rodgers throwing to him, the way he just runs his routes and gets open is just, I think you could say that Hopkins is kind of close, but Rodgers versus Kyler, I mean, if you look at the numbers that Adams is putting up versus Hopkins right now, I mean, it's not even comparable. And Kyler's trucking the ball down the field too. I mean, especially since that there's not a lot of other weapons. I mean, I love MVS, but he's not that great.
No,
yes,
not good at all.
They have okay weapons, all right?
They have horrible weapons besides Adams.
They know who the number one threat is. They know it's Adams. He still gets open. He still performs. He still gives me 30 points a week, and he's going to lead me hopefully to the championship this year in fantasy. So that's all.
Listen, again, just like in the running back debate, this is recency bias, okay? Because Adams, nobody would have argued is the best receiver at any point.
Not at all.
I will give him he is easily the best route runner in the league.
Yes.
He runs the most outstanding routes I've ever seen. I watch highlights of Adams, I watch film of Adams, and he's making DBs look silly out there. I love the way he runs his routes. But that doesn't make him the best receiver. I think DeAndre Hopkins is the best receiver currently. He is the best receiver currently.
We got a bunch of different opinions here because I can just
the most dominant. And I did argue Michael Thomas he's been injured though, so we'll see. But I think when Michael Thomas is fully healthy, he would be. But
Aidan, just before you get into it, I think I traded away the best receiver, and now Aidan can go into it.
And I'm going to say, I know our man Jack isn't here for whatever reason, but have we forgotten who this man is? That is a Jack Share quote. Julio Jones. Go.
Washed.
Not. He's
No.
really not.
Washed. Wait.
How could you say he's washed?
He's
No,
not.
I'm not talking about stats this year because he's been injured. But since he's been back, he has gone back to dominant Julio. I mean,
well, he had a dominant game against Carolina. Carolina's defense is dog shit. And
Yeah,
I hate when people say this. This is like, we can't blame it on the defense you're going
most
against.
of Julio's production comes in late fourth quarter runs
that's
in
not true.
garbage time.
You're not watching the games. The Vikings, who Rodgers and Devontae Adams couldn't beat.
Vikings have
Came back.
Vikings have
Came back. First game back. Julio, 2 touchdowns, 100-something yards. Next game, Carolina, 175 yards. Yet last week, he had 7 receptions for, not a lot of yards, 60 yards. He had another touchdown. The body, along with the ability, along with the production since he's been healthy, when he's healthy, he steps out on the field. He's still the best player in the league, the best receiver.
Listen, Julio's the best receiver of since he's been in the league, he's been the most consistently the best receiver, okay? But I don't think he's ever really been the best receiver in the league. He's always been overshadowed by someone else. It's true. Back when AB went on that stretch of 5 years where he was insane, he was better than Julio every single year.
No, that's debatable.
Nah, he was.
Not every year.
really-
There was definitely. I don't know the stats off the top of my head, but there was definitely a year. What was that year where Julio had like 300 yards and against whoever he had he was dominant that year.
That was against the Panthers, I think.
Yeah, like 2 points.
Yo, I actually just pulled up some quotes from these receivers. Julio Jones said, "Absolutely, I think I'm the best, no doubt about it." Then Devontae Adams responded with, "I think I'm the best wide receiver in the game." And then DeAndre Hopkins just laughed. So I mean, that's
all he has to do. That's all he has to do.
The thing with the receiver, the wide receiver position is they're all cocky. They're all cocky bastards.
Yes.
In order to be a star receiver, you got to be arrogant because you just got to want the ball at all times. So they all think they're the best. But I just want to read you Julio's stats in games where he's been healthy. 9 receptions for 157 yards, game 1. Then he got hurt for a while. Comes back, 8 for 137 and 2 touchdowns. 8 for 97. 7 for 137. And then his off game was 5 for 54 and a touchdown.
Well, I mean, you can't argue stats because look at the games Devontae Adams is healthy. He's gotten like over
That
25
is
every full game he's played. So you can't argue stats.
But he's got a better quarterback.
I would respect if someone said DK Metcalf is better than Julio.
No.
He's not.
It's very close to being better. Not this year. In the future, he's.
Yes,
in
I have
very
DK in my
near future.
fantasy team.
I think as of right now, DK is better than Julio.
No.
I mean,
This might have to be a poll question on our Instagram.
yeah, we have to start doing like the poll debates like that. I might start posting those.
I mean, that's absurd. I love DK more than the next guy, and thank you, Connor, for basically giving him to me. I know you had him at one point on your fantasy team.
Another one.
For AJ
Gone.
Brown as well.
But he's too young. He's too young. I mean, he's great. He really is. And he's going to be in the conversation for the next 10 years. But you can't tell me that he's better than Mike. He's not better than Mike Thomas, Hopkins, Julio, Adams, or even Tyreek Hill. I don't even think he's in the top 5, personally.
Not yet, but he's very
Top
close.
10 for sure, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's debatable, but I think one thing we can all agree on is that OBJ shouldn't be in the league anymore. I mean,
if Jack was here, he'd argue OBJ is the best in the league. That's why Jack was here right now.
OBJ could be the most skilled. He really could be the most skilled.
I would rather have Braxton Berrios on my team than Odell.
Come on.
Odell's nothing but a cancer.
Joe Flacco did look really good last night.
We might have to post that on our story. Danko saying that.
Yeah,
That might-
that's
Joe Flacco's still elite though, so.
well. I know we didn't have this, but can I pose a question for you, the three of you? This is just a quick answer. If you were building a team, who would you take right now, McLaurin or Metcalf? Because I take Metcalf, but a lot of people think Terry is better.
I'll go first. Got to go with Metcalf easily, in my opinion. The only thing you could argue for McLaurin is he's more of he it hurts him that he doesn't have a quarterback. It really does. But he still puts up these amazing numbers, and he's very explosive. But Metcalf, all around, the more dominant receiver. I'm going Metcalf all day.
Yeah, it's Metcalf. It's not close.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, just the if I agree, but the debate, the argument for Terry is that he's had horrible quarterbacks, whereas Metcalf has Russell Wilson, who apparently is the best football player in the world. So that's a debate for there, but I digress.
I think Terry gets open more. I just think you can't match his skill or production even with Metcalf in any aspect. Personally, I would probably take A.J. Brown over Terry McLaurin. I love A.J. Brown. I think he's
I don't hate that. I don't hate that. Really.
I don't really like Terry, honestly, so I'm fine with that. I'm not a huge Terry.
Love having him on my fantasy team. Not gonna lie.
Connor, but just to tell the fans, at one point or another, Connor Armstrong had Julio, DK, and AJ Brown all on his fantasy team, and now he couldn't even put up 70 points this week. So I just want to throw that out there.
Well, imagine you still had that team.
When you have Darius Slayton and DJ Chark as your flex options, I don't think you're going to get very far in life, just period. So
You're absolutely right, Connor. You're absolutely right.
So yeah, I'm just throwing this down the drain this fantasy football season, but all right, we're gonna move into a new debate now. We're gonna talk about contenders and teams to beat in each conference, starting with the NFC, where on top of the league standings, the Seahawks, the Packers, the Saints, the Bucks, and the Cardinals are the top 5 in the NFC. Remo, gonna start with you. Who do you think's the team to beat in the NFC?
Oh man, the NFC is a really mixed bag right now because we have some crazy things happening this week. I'm gonna say I still have to put the Seahawks. However, the Seahawks do not have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. So they're the team to beat, but they do not have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Their defense is
that makes
terrible.
sense, buddy. All right,
That makes 0 sense.
but they ain't winning. Come on.
It's a little bit contradictory, but this is what I'm saying. They're the best overall team, but they're not built for the playoffs. So somebody has to beat them.
Who is the team to beat in the damn playoffs? Remo, answer the question.
The Seahawks are the team to beat.
Who's the team to beat? If you want to make it to the Super Bowl, you got to beat this team. Who is it?
The Seahawks are the team. They're not going to make the Super Bowl because their defense is terrible.
Make the Super Bowl.
I don't know. This is a tough one for me. I don't want to say the Bucks because they just got absolutely destroyed.
I'm taking the Bucks. The Bucks are still my team to beat.
If the Bucks, they're inconsistent. Let's face it. They'll have 2 games where they look amazing, and then they're going to look like this.
In the NFC, who's consistent? Nobody.
That's the problem. That's why I don't know who's the
have been.
I don't know who the team is.
The Vikings could make a run. Who knows? It's wide open. It really is.
Yeah, no, I think it's totally wide open. If I were to pick one team, I'd probably go for the Bucks just because of their defense, even though the defense didn't show up last game. But you're gonna have to hope that it shows up in the defense in the playoffs.
And the offense.
It's tough. I could see, as I said last week, I could see the Eagles making a run. I think it's very possible.
Again, I think any team can make a run in this.
The Giants could win the division for Christ's sake.
Who knows? Honestly, this season has been great, very entertaining. But again, I'd still take the Bucks as my team to beat. But as much as I hate the Packers, they're close. I hate them, but they're close.
I'm just gonna say it right now. This is why I have such a tough time with this because now there will not be an NFC team winning the Super Bowl this year. An AFC team will win the Super Bowl. None of these teams are consistent enough or dominant enough to win the Super Bowl. You look at the team. The Bucks should be the most well-rounded, but they don't play like it always. So that's my problem with the Bucks right there. Okay, like they just got embarrassed twice by the Saints. I mean, second time was much more embarrassing. But if they play the Saints in the playoffs, they're gonna lose again. There's no chance they beat them. I think I can't see it.
Yeah, I could honestly. If to shift over to the AFC, I think that Chiefs are far and away best team in the league.
I agree.
And I will say that don't count the Ravens out. I think
I agree.
Ravens. I saw this on once again shouting out Colin Cowherd. People are like, oh, the Ravens offense they can't do anything. Oh, Lamar can't throw the ball.
I saw this.
They haven't had a game with under 20 points this season.
No, in the last 30 games.
They're
Mhm.
even more.
Well, Aidan, I'm just curious because you've been ripping the Ravens a decent amount lately. Are you like on the Ravens train? Like what's
By the way, I keep muting my mic just because I'm having some bowel movements. So my apologies.
Let's hear them. Let's hear it.
But sorry, what was your question?
That's a wild take, Remo, but continue.
Are you are you on the Ravens train? I mean, like
I wouldn't say I'm on the train, but I would say who knows? Again, who knows? I don't think they're again. I'm more on the Ravens train than I am the Steelers train. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
but this is what I find interesting. Like a few weeks ago, that wasn't the case. So I don't think, at least.
Look, I know the Steelers technically won the game.
They did.
But I was more impressed with the Ravens in the Steelers game. I really was. They off their yards. They out yarded whatever you want to call it. Out yarded them by 200+200. Lamar's just got to be a little bit better, and I think he can be. They beat a really good Colts team.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say the Colts are really good, but they're
out of the playoffs right now, the Colts. So
they controlled the game. They controlled the Colts. They did what they wanted to do to the Colts.
And Lamar was 10 for 10 in the second half. I mean, and look at what the Steelers went at. They laid a goddamn egg, and they should have lost. They should.
Well, this is why I keep hearing with the Steelers, though, Danko, before you go, okay? This is why I keep hearing with the Steelers. They shoulda, coulda, woulda. Should have lost to the Titans. Should have lost to the Ravens. Should have lost to the Cowboys.
They should have lost to all these teams, and I'm not impressed with them at all.
I mean, soon it's just going to be like, oh, they shouldn't have won the division. They shouldn't have, gone to the Super Bowl if it gets that far. Like, they
ain't getting that far. I can see that.
Well,
they have the best chance to dethrone the Chiefs, and I will keep saying that.
I think that the Steelers play to the the level of their competition.
Yes.
Very good point. They have always done that.
I think that I can't see them getting, knock on wood, I can't see them getting blown out by any team. I think most of their games are going to stay close, and that their playoff run is going to be a nail biter. That every game you're going to be shitting yourself, Remo.
I know I am. I'm preparing for it.
I'm shitting myself right now.
I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie, embarrassing performance against the Cowboys, but like, I'm not genuinely surprised. Like, this is what they do. They play down to their competition. I was pissed off watching that game.
Lost to Garrett Gilbert, bro.
Oh no, I was pissed off. But that's the thing. If they're playing the Ravens in that game, if they're playing the Chiefs in that game,
Didn't play well against the Ravens.
that's what I'm saying. They'll play well against any team, they'll play up to their competition, they'll play down to their competition.
If Lamar just throws one less interception, they lose. They didn't play that well against the Ravens. You shouldn't be impressed by that Ravens win.
But I am though. No, I am impressed because listen, Lamar has proven nothing against the Steelers. He played against the Steelers last year and threw 3 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks, and then this year he comes back, throws another 2 picks and fumbles twice. Yeah, so he hasn't proven that he can play against good defenses. He really hasn't.
I agree. My thing is in my opinion, again, most likely doesn't mean anything to you, but I just haven't really seen enough from them yet. I need to see them blow
next half of the season. Do you need another half, another 8 games?
I would like that. I could see them if they don't. I could see them losing in the first round. You can't keep games come playoff time. You can't keep games this close against bad teams. It's going to come back to bite you in the ass.
Well,
if anything, this is
wins championships.
That is true.
That's the bottom line. If the Steelers, I will say that they don't play great when they're down, but when their defense is hot and they're up, they pummel teams.
It's gross. It's like not even fair. But I actually want to bring up a question to you guys. Out of these 3 NFC teams, who do you trust to win a playoff game? The Rams, the Bears, or the 49ers?
the Bears aren't making the playoffs, and the 49ers aren't making the playoffs. So
you said the Vikings are going to make the playoffs?
wait,
Or the Vikings, yeah.
you said 49. 49ers are done.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But, it just has them at 4-5 right now, so I just thought that I would ask the question. And also,
You're saying if those teams made it?
yeah.
The Rams, because I don't the Bears. Oh my gosh, they're done. They're done. They're gonna go like 7-9. Like
Yeah,
they
I
can't be.
the Bears might win one more game for the rest of the season. I mean, they're a total fluke team. Nick Foles is terrible. He's a wash up. He should have retired after he won the Super Bowl, Peyton Manning style. I
He's not that old.
They should honestly. He's old enough. They should honestly put in Trubisky.
That's why I've been saying he's better.
And another thing I will say, I've never seen a worse just ball carrier than David Montgomery. I
Oh.
think he's the most sorry halfback in the
I
entire
agree.
NFL.
I agree.
I was checking my phone as the game goes on. He gets more carries than yards. He had at one point in the game, he had 9 carries and 5 yards. All he does, he goes backwards. He's more often to go backwards than
They
forwards.
have a horrible run blocking offensive line.
You can't say that.
Wait. Not to mention,
Look at Frank Gore on Monday night. You just see what Frank
Yeah.
Gore did? He's running
Not
better
to-
than Montgomery.
there was a point in the game that Barkevius Mingo, who is a defensive end, by the way,
Yeah.
huge bust actually. He was the number 6 overall pick.
Totally random, but sometimes
not
on Instagram,
He had more rushing yards than Montgomery.
sometimes on Instagram, I'll click on comments to a post, and it'll be like Barkevius Mingo, but it'll be like a guy pretending to be Barkevius Mingo, and he'll be like, "I approve of this post," and I always laugh.
No, it is a great name. I mean,
It is
imagine being named Barkevius.
Barkevius.
And he's honestly a better runner than David Montgomery. He really is.
Well, actually, he had the longest run for the Bears the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, Montgomery he's a disgrace.
But to answer your question, Connor, I think the only plausible answer really is the Rams.
Mhm.
But again,
He doesn't like the
I
Rams.
I don't trust the Rams. The Vikings are better than all 3 of the teams you named, actually.
You know, as of right now, I
No,
would
they're
trust
not.
the Vikings. If the Vikings and the Rams played, I'd probably take the Vikings right now.
I agree.
And I mean, this is more of a question for the AFC, but same question as before: Dolphins, Browns, or Raiders at this point in a playoff game to win?
Well, see, that's a tough one. The other one, ridiculous.
Yeah, the other
one-
one was a garbage question, but this is good.
Oh man, you said Dolphins, Browns, Oh, I really want to roll with the Dolphins.
Me
For
too.
me, Browns are out. It's between the Dolphins and the Raiders.
I agree.
I'm taking the Raiders. I like the Raiders. They beat the Chiefs. I mean, I don't need to explain myself. I'm taking the Raiders.
The Colts
I mean-
are also in this mix too, if we want to bring them.
The Dolphins, they make me so sick.
Do
Unfortunately,
it time, baby.
over the weekend, unfortunately, I put unhealthy amount of money on Arizona, and I thought they had that game in the bag. I thought there was no way Tua could have done anything, and he proved me wrong. Having said that, I think that these 2 games are still a fluke. I think that Tua is going to come back down to earth. He's going to throw some more picks, lose the ball, do classic rookie things, and
Has Tua thrown a pick yet?
he's going to throw something. That's not a completed pass. I can't trust Baker. I think Baker is just a sorry excuse. All he does is show off, and he can't do anything.
Yes.
I'm probably going to have to go with the Raiders because I love myself some John Gruden. And the fact that they got fined from the NFL and lost a pick, they're going to have some vengeance. So I think they're going to be out there with some vengeance.
Yeah, they got to be really mad about that 6th round pick.
I mean,
I'm gonna
Yeah, no
say,
way.
I don't know what seed who's going to get. I don't know what's going to happen because I can't see the Steelers going 16-0. So the Chiefs might get the 1 seed. But if the Steelers have to play the Raiders or the Chiefs have to play the Raiders first round,
It's tough.
they should
well,
be.
this is what I was about to say. I feel like it's going to come down to, for the AFC, between the Raiders, pretty much because nobody's catching either the Ravens or Steelers, whoever ends up, being the 5, whoever doesn't win the division. But for whoever gets the 6th seed out of the Raiders, Dolphins, Browns, or Colts, that they have the best chance here because, and I think that's what it's going to come down to when we're talking about who has the best chance to win. Whoever plays the Bills in the first round has the best chance to win, I think. The Bills looked great last week. The defense is a huge problem. I think if the Raiders end up playing the Bills, they could seriously beat them, especially because Josh Allen has looked terrible in the playoffs last year, and the Bills haven't proven to be a playoff team. So I think whoever gets that 6 seed has the best chance. And I think
Josh
it's
Allen
probably
is
gonna be
back to
great.
form, by the way, after this game against the. Well, actually, I don't know about that because the Seahawks defense is pretty bad.
He's back. He's
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, I agree.
I think I
He's back
said,
against bad defenses.
I said this last week. I have an affection for Josh Allen, even though he's in the same division as my beloved Jets. I do have an affection for Josh Allen. I think that come playoff time, if the Bills have any success or not, it will come down to the weather of the game, which I mentioned that last week. In bad weather, Josh Allen he can't do anything. Also,
That's
because
just a great take, Danko, because it was
Terrible.
a
Yeah.
70-degree day in Buffalo.
it was perfect weather. I mean, the over in that game hit by like a mile. If Josh Allen has good conditions and if the defense even shows up a little bit, I think that they can definitely win their first game easily.
I don't know about easily. Like,
I don't
again,
think anybody's gonna have an easy win first round.
I honestly, whoever gets the 7, like they should be, is going to be in trouble. I don't see the Steelers or Chiefs getting upset first round.
By the Raiders?
No, I don't.
I mean, the Raiders already beat the Chiefs.
I understand that, but playoff time, it's a whole different thing. You have a Raiders team who
The
hasn't been in the
Steelers
playoffs since
are not that good. God.
They're 8-0, baby. I mean,
I'm gonna say this right now.
okay.
If the
Let's hear it.
Steelers get the 2 seed and the Raiders get the 7, my lock of the week, 11 weeks from now, is that game, and the Raiders are going to win. That's my lock of 11 weeks from now.
We got to keep that one in the vault because
Yeah, you can at me on that one, guys.
If that happens, the Remo's going to have to change his sheets and all, but
I will. If that happens, I will do that. Okay.
If that happens, I will buy. Never mind, because you're going to be on. Never mind. Move on. Sorry.
but yeah, we'll move on to some college now. I think on Saturday was probably the best college game that I had watched in a long time. Notre Dame and Clemson at Notre Dame. It was an unbelievable game, double overtime. Aidan, let's start with you. What did you take away from the game?
Well, first of all, I would just like to shout out the Pifko family for having me over. They're big Notre Dame supporters, went to Notre Dame. Absolutely electric atmosphere in the household for that game. And I'm not a huge college football fan by any means necessary, but I watched the whole game. And I'm going to say this, and I'll let Remo take control because he probably knows more college than me and Danko and Connor combined. But Clemson fans can say all they want that they didn't have Trevor Lawrence. But damn, their quarterback, I don't know how to pronounce his name, had a better QBR than Trevor Lawrence has ever had in his career. Ever, except against the Citadel, which I don't count. So I don't really see what Trevor Lawrence would have done there. Notre Dame just looked really, really good. They did.
Again, like Notre Dame looked great. They actually finally won a big game. That's been Notre Dame's thing. That's why Notre Dame's been the most overrated college team for like years now. But that's a big win. I agree. Even if it's against a backup quarterback who's going to one day be probably a star for Clemson, that's a huge win for Notre Dame. And honestly, they are almost a lock for the playoffs at this point. All they have to do is not lose another game besides the ACC championship, which I do think they will lose because Trevor Lawrence does make a difference. And I think if Notre Dame wins out besides that game, the top 4 stays the same. I really do.
Florida's in.
See, Florida has obviously a really tough task ahead of them because, they have a trap game against Auburn. Okay, that's going to be a tough one. Auburn is still a good team. And then, honestly, they still have to beat Alabama. So are they really able to do that?
We'll see. I think
But, yeah, that's what I think is the top 4 stays the same as it is now. You're looking at the playoffs.
I know basically next to nothing about college football. I will say, though, that Notre Dame did embarrass Pitt a few weeks ago.
Well, who doesn't?
And by any standards, I mean, they did beat Clemson. I mean, the fact that they rushed the field at the end of the game, I think that will give them some extra luck. I will put that out there.
Okay.
Notre Dame will make a splash in the playoffs because there will be in there.
I mean, I don't think Notre Dame is making a championship run. This is great for them. They'll probably make the playoffs now. But either way, they're probably going to end up being the 4. They're going to have to play the 1, which is either going to be Bama or Ohio State. They're not beating either of those teams. So, I mean, either way, it's between Bama, Clemson, and Ohio State. And just like it has been for the past, 5 years.
Calling it right now.
Florida-
Alabama's reign of terror ends this year. Notre Dame is beating them.
Florida. We're forgetting about Florida.
Or Florida. Either one. Notre Dame or Florida. Either one beating Bama. I'm sick of it.
Fuck Bama. And
I
fuck
know.
me.
Listen. I don't think Bama's going to win it. Okay, I love Bama. Don't think they're going to win it this year. And the reason why, their defense is terrible. Worst defense I've seen in years. I think this is the year that, Trevor Lawrence retakes the throne. Florida's not winning. Clemson's going to
Well, let me propose a question, and then can we move on to because college football is kind of dead. Let's be honest.
It's the best. Come on.
Not.
If Justin Fields beats Trevor Lawrence and looks better than him, what's going to happen with the number 1 pick?
It's gonna be 100% Lawrence.
I don't understand why more people aren't looking at Fields though.
No, Fields will be very good, but Lawrence is a generational talent, and the Jets will pick him.
You know why? It's because he's a tall white guy. I feel like because he's a tall white guy, people think he's the quote Peyton Manning generational talent.
That's an absurd take. That is an absurd take.
It's not an absurd take.
I mean, have you seen what the guy has done on the field? He honestly is easily the best overall all-around college quarterback I've ever seen. Okay, he might not have had the best production of any college quarterback I've ever seen. He's the most poised. He's the most consistent. Yes, better than him. And Andrew Luck is up there. He was amazing.
Well, and let me say, who's to say Justin Herbert might be the best player in the class in this, and he did not look good in college. So who knows? I mean, we'll get it.
Look, he looked good. He just wasn't on Tua and Burrow's level. And you can ask Connor this. I've always said Herbert was going to end up being the best, and
I actually agreed with you on that.
I don't know. I still like Burrow. I'm a big Burrow guy. But.
Yeah, no, I like Burrow a lot too. One quick thing. Zach Wilson on BYU. I watched that BYU Boise State game. He looked unbelievable out there.
He's really good.
Right.
If BYU played some decent teams, I would honestly consider them to make the playoffs. But even if they went out, there's no way they could even make it because it would just be impossible considering the teams that they play. But I mean, he's going to be a first-round draft pick, and
listen,
I think he'll be very good in the NFL.
I know you guys don't watch as much college football, so you probably didn't know who Zach Wilson was before this year. But I've been watching him since he was a freshman, and I've actually always liked the guy. He was horrible until this year, like terrible.
Well, Burrow.
No, Burrow wasn't horrible. He was just really average and. Zach Wilson was never good. He made terrible mistakes. Bad ball security. Listen, Zach Wilson is gonna. He's gonna be like Jordan Love. Okay.
When you go to BYU, you have to go on a mission retreat or whatever. Find out that you're Mormon or not Mormon or whatever. Keep in mind, Zach Wilson hasn't been in the same room with a girl for the last 3 years. He hasn't had any drugs for 3 years. This guy is clean as a whistle.
I mean,
he's the next
guy. I'm sure he's had a few girls.
And in BYU, it's illegal. This guy's the next Tim Tebow.
You can have 8 girls at the same time. You can marry all of them. He's probably got 4 wives right now.
After college.
Modern type shit.
I mean, he probably pulls the most girls. I think he probably pulls more girls.
Here's a question. Which school is more religious and strict? BYU? Or then move on. I don't want to hate on anybody. Actually, move on.
Were you gonna say Liberty? Because
I was gonna say Liberty, but I don't know anything about Liberty.
They also look really good. Shout out Liberty. 7-0.
I
actually have 110,000 students there, though. I looked it up. It says 110. That's an astronomical number, but that's all I know. But that's what I've heard. That they're a very strict religious school. But BYU, there was a basketball player back in the day. Great. Played in the tournament his freshman year. next thing you know, his senior year, he's 26 years old because he had to go on his mission for 2 years. I mean, I don't know how they do that there, but
Oh yeah, I know this.
Remo, I actually had a question for you real quick. Just last thing on college football. How's Coastal Carolina in the top 15? I don't understand.
I mean, go Coastal Carolina, baby. They're rolling undefeated. I mean, they've looked really good.
shout out Kyle Ruban.
Oh yeah.
Yes, represent. I mean, they're not gonna do much of anything. But I think they'll win their bowl game down the stretch.
No, yeah. I was just very surprised to see them at 15 this past week.
A lot of people are. Same with Liberty. They're ranked 7 now. I mean, this is,
I'd love to see a Liberty versus BYU battle. That would be interesting.
Yes, that would be amazing.
I mean, the friendliest stands, fucking fan section ever.
And then I would like to see Coastal Carolina versus Cincinnati right there. I want to see that too.
Yeah.
Anderson would cry if they lose to them, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to move into our picks now for Week 10 of the NFL season. Dank, I want to start with you for Thursday night's game. Colts at the Titans.
Colts. This is the problem. It's going to be who plays better, Derrick Henry or Colts defense. That's the two things you're going to be looking for in this game. And Derrick Henry underperformed last week greatly against the Bears defense. And I will argue that the Colts defense is better than the Bears defense. So I do think that the Colts can probably eke out a win. If they can stop Derrick Henry and stop A.J. Brown, which are the only two threats on the entire Titans offense, and the Titans defense is horrible, to say the least. I think
Nick
that
made them look good.
I think that the Colts can win that game.
Listen,
I'm also rolling with the Colts. I agree with everything that Danko said. Defense wise, Derrick Henry. Yeah, I expect another subpar game for Derrick Henry. He might get to 100 yards, but he'll probably rush it about 35 times. So.
Okay. I think this is going to be a very close game. I think whoever wins this game is going to go and win the division. I got the Titans. Colts haven't proven. I mean, you could argue the Titans. Titans played very well against the Bills, so they have won a big game. Colts haven't really won a big game. I think that continues here. Phil Rivers underperforms again, and I think Derrick Henry rolls this game in prime time. Titans are going to win.
I'm actually going to go with the Colts on the road. I don't know. I mean, all year I like Philip Rivers' intensity, and I actually think he's going to bring it this game. But yeah. So moving to the Sunday games, Remo, Texans and Browns.
Low key could be a close game. I have the Browns though, and they definitely have to win this one to even stay in it. But I think Chubb's playing again. Look for a big day out of Chubb. Yeah, Brown's gonna win this one.
Yeah, this is it's making an early appearance. This is my Dino Lamp lock of the week this game. Browns -3.5. Hear me out. Chubb's probably gonna come back. They also have Kareem Hunt, best duo running back in the league. Additionally, Houston has no run defense. They're not there. It's like invisible. They're running into nothing. I think that Browns will control the pace of the game. I think that they'll just run all over the Texans. They'll keep Watson off the field, so Watson's going to have to throw deep bombs, probably end up throwing a pick or two. I can see Browns winning by 2 touchdowns easily.
I'd have to agree. I think this is going to be one of those games where you're not really paying attention to it. Next thing you know, every other game's got 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and this game's already over because the Browns are just going to run the ball and run the clock down. So that's why I think it might be closer than some people may say, because I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. But I would definitely say Browns, especially -3.5, whatever it is. I'm taking the Browns.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Browns too. Yeah, I don't know about you guys. I just haven't been impressed with Deshaun Watson at all this year. He's just kind of taken a step back in my opinion, but yeah, I got the Browns at home.
And if Jack was here, he could argue that. But since he's not here, we're gonna move on and say Deshaun has taken a step back because Jack.
Yeah, Deshaun's bad. He's bored.
The boy says Deshaun is not good. Everybody on the box score agrees, including Jack.
I did.
He's not here to. He's not here to beg.
I'll just let it go. We don't need to argue.
Okay. In the Washington football team against the Lions.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I was on the Lions train for a while, for a couple games, but I'm off. I'm off the Lions train, but I'm also the football team. I'll go with the football team because I want to see Alex Smith get a win. That's what I'll say. Definitely not a game to have your eyes glued to the television. That's for sure.
This is a Garbo game, but whatever. Fire whoever does the scheduling, whatever. But the Lions, I think the Lions will come out with this one. They have one thing they have done this year. They've beaten the teams that they should beat that are worse than them. Like the Jags and teams like that. But the Washington quarterback is a serious issue. Otherwise, they actually could have potential to be good. I think the Lions are actually going to dominate in this game, and that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I got Lions on this one. I think DeAndre Swift's going to have a reappearance and have a big game this week.
Yeah, I got the Lions too. I just think that Stafford's been steady all year long.
I just want to say one thing real quick.
Yeah.
Matt, what's his name? Matt Patricia?
Yeah.
The other first name, sorry. But Patricia needs to go.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's going to get fired.
Yeah.
they were solid. They were an average team when he got there. And the second he got there, he's supposed to turn him from average to good. He turned him from average to garbage. So
he sucks, and also I think he has probably put on at least 100 pounds.
He might be better than Mike
Coordinator. He's not a head coach.
He might.
No.
He was over a defensive coordinator. Bill ran the defense, and Patricia got the credit. Whatever.
The only thing he coordinates is putting food in his mouth because the guy is seriously unhealthily.
He's gigantic.
Morbidly obese, and every time I see him out in the field, I think he's about to keel over.
Oh my gosh.
Who's bigger, him or Mike McCarthy? That's the real question. I don't know.
I know he's bigger
It's
by
Patricia.
a mile. Mike McCarthy.
Patricia's fat as fuck.
McCarthy's big. He is big.
Matt Patricia is the size of like an F-150. That guy's humongous.
All right, moving on. We got the Bucks and the Panthers. Denko, who you got in this game?
This is so tough for me because after seeing the Bucks put a performance like that up on the table, and after seeing Carolina keep it really close with the Chiefs, it makes me want to say Carolina, but it's so Brady-esque to come back after a horrible game and just throw the lights out. And especially, I think they're going to get back to the running game, and I will say Bucks will win this one, but it's going to be ugly.
Yeah, I have the Bucks as well. The Bucks, they're not gonna let that happen 2 games in a row, as bad as they looked. But I do expect their defense to bounce back against the Panthers in this game. I don't think if McCaffrey does play, I don't think he's gonna do much. I really do think the Bucks have the second best defensive front in the league. I expect Devin White, Levante David, Shaq Barrett, JPP all to have a great game. They have a great linebacking core, and I think they're gonna step it back up this game. Bucks will win. It'll be close though.
By the way, I don't know if anybody noticed this. Totally random. In the Bucks Saints game, JPP went up, pass hit his hands. Should have been an interception. He doesn't have any fingers.
I noticed that.
He couldn't grip the ball. It was right in his hands. He tried to catch it like this. There was no way. I could have been a pick 6 if he didn't blow his fingers off like an idiot. But I'm taking the Bucks. Bucks are gonna roll. They're back. They're gonna bounce back.
Yeah, I got the Bucks in that game too. I think that Antonio Brown's gonna have a big day as well.
I can see it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much a lock. AB scores in this game. I hate the guy.
Lock of the week.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
Dino lock of the week for Remo. But all right, this is actually a big game for the division. Remo, Eagles, Giants.
Daniel Jones can't beat anybody else besides Washington. He can't. So, the Eagles are terrible, okay? They're a bad team. Carson Wentz sucks, but he's going to look good against the Giants. He'll probably throw like 2 picks anyway. But, I expect the Eagles to win this, and this is where the Eagles really start to separate themselves from the rest of the division, okay? Because the Giants' defense has looked solid. I think they will continue to be all right. Offense, not good enough. And as bad as the Eagles' defense is, I don't think Daniel Jones will produce. I think he's going to hurt them again in this game, and Eagles are going to win.
Yeah, I think that Booby Sanders coming back onto the field is going to be huge for Carson because it's going to give him a little bit of a safety net, and it comes down to Carson if he gives the ball up. If he has more than 2 turnovers, then I don't see them being. It's going to be still close, but I can't see them being the Giants. It's going to be another ugly game.
Daniel Jones is probably going to turn the ball over too.
It's going to be gross.
I mean, you guys know me. I'm a Giants hater. I really am. But for some reason this year, I think they're going to win the damn division. They're going to win this game. I'm taking the Giants. I think they had played a good game against the Bucs. Next game, Daniel Jones throws no interceptions, and now they're going to go out, and the Eagles are nothing special, and they're going to make this. They're going to make this division even more interesting, and they're going to go get a win. That's what I'm going to say.
Hot take there.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Giants too because they're 2-7, but Joe Judge has them playing hard every single week, and they are much more competitive than the last couple of seasons. I think that the Giants picked the right guy to be their head coach, and I think he outcoaches Doug Peterson in this game, and the Giants get a big win.
I see the Giants as the Dolphins of last year, where they were really not that good in the first half, kind of turning around in the second half, and then are really good the next year because I really do like what Joe Judge is doing.
I'm sorry. I can't see that as long as Daniel Jones is the guy. He kills them. He cannot finish a game for his life. I'm a Daniel Jones hater. Get him out of there. Get him out of there.
I see you, Aidan, but I mean, give credit where it's due. I mean, I watched the same Colin Coward video, so come on now. Let's not try.
I knew you watched it, but I was thinking maybe I could get this one away.
Nah, you can't slip it past me. We're a reputable podcast. We don't steal other people's work.
Oh, he knows what he's talking about. He really does.
Oh, he sucks. That's besides the point.
Next game's for Aidan, Jags and Packers.
What a game.
Packers. I have no explanation. Packers.
Okay. Everybody Packers? Do we agree?
Yeah, Packers all around.
Packers easily. You know, if Jake Luton plays again, I think he's going to play well, though.
Yeah, he actually wasn't bad.
He will, but Packers just move on.
Yeah.
Danko, Bills and Cardinals. Very interesting game.
This another game that just makes me sick to my stomach. I bet Seahawks last weekend, and that was probably the most gut-wrenching game to watch for a Seahawks bettor. The Bills looked so great, but at the same time, you thought the Seahawks could come back and win that game any second because the Bills are just collapse at any moment. I think it's going to be another shootout, and it's just going to whoever catches that one long deep ball, whoever gets that one pick is going to decide the game. I mean, it's going to be close. It's going to be high scoring. If I had to pick, probably Bills, but it's a very hard game to pick.
I think the Bills beat the Seahawks, and to me, the Seahawks and Cardinals are very, very similar. So I think the Bills are going to take this one too. I really do.
This is probably going to be the game of the week. Okay. I actually have the Cardinals in this one. I think they definitely need to win this, honestly, with how the NFC is. Like, they can't afford to keep losing these games. And I expect the Cardinals offense to keep cooking. They're the number one statistical offense in the league right now. And I think that they're going to expose the Bills secondary, which has not shown up this year. Corners do not show up at all. Safeties don't show up. And I think Kyler Murray is going to run all over them, and Hopkins is going to eat up against the Bills' trash defense. So I have the Cardinals.
I do agree. I have the Cardinals also. Even though I love Josh Allen, I don't know. I just think the Buda Baker is going to have a big game too for the Cardinals.
12 tackles at least. That's also a lot.
Yes. Where do we live? Remo, the two rookies coming together this week, Herbert and Tua, Chargers, Dolphins.
This is going to be a pretty solid game, but the problem with the Chargers is they haven't proven anything, and I feel bad for Herbert because they can't finish a game. The only teams they've beaten are the Bengals and the Jags this year. So the Dolphins are heating up while the Chargers are going the complete wrong direction. I think the Dolphins defense is going to keep consistently doing well, and I think Herbert has a good game. I think Tua plays well enough to win, and the Dolphins are going to continue their playoff run.
Yeah, I got Dolphins in this one. I mean, I don't blame Herbert for any of the Chargers' woes. I think it's just a whole team kind of mentality of just accepting the bad things that are happening to them. I don't think they have a lot of grit as a team. They kind of remind me of the Falcons in a way. I think Dolphins are probably going to win. I mean, that's another game I don't really like. I don't like the slate too much this week.
I feel like I'm going to take the Dolphins because they're my guys. I've been rolling with them for the last few weeks, so I'm going to take them again. But this is kind of a trap game. I don't know. I feel like the Chargers have lost so many close games. They're bound to get one, right? Like they're bound. But this isn't going to be it. I think the Chargers will be better next year. Derwin James, huge loss. He's he's really a general out there on the defensive end. So they'll be good in the next few years. I think Anthony Lynn should stay, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. You give him like another year.
Give him another year with Herbert and see what he can do. But the Dolphins are going to take this one. And if the Dolphins win and the Bills lose, that division is getting tight.
That's right. I mean, if the Dolphins win, then they're 6-3. I mean, that's pretty solid from where they were last year. I got to give a lot of credit to Brian Flores also. He's done a great job with them. Yeah, I got the Dolphins as well. Aidan, Broncos, Raiders.
Yeah. Raiders. Again, I said last week, Drew Lock has a horse cock, but he's not going to win. He's not. I really like what, again, John Gruden and Derek Carr are doing together, and Nelson Aguilar all of a sudden can catch balls. And Darren Waller's good. Josh Jacobs is solid. So the Raiders are going to win.
Well, let me just say Josh Jacobs is amazing. I love Josh Jacobs. But I actually, I'm going to also go with the Raiders, but the Broncos are another team just like the Chargers. They're going to be very good in the future. The AFC West is going to be probably one of the best divisions in the future. But this year, it's really between Raiders and Chiefs. So I think the Raiders are going to continue playing well. I don't think, Drew Lock has been a little bit inconsistent at times, and I think that's going to continue in this game. So I have the Raiders.
I mean, I think Raiders are going to win this one easily. I think Drew Lock is the next Matt Ryan. Because, I mean, if you look at his stats, he does nothing until the fourth quarter. Absolutely nothing. I mean, he's a reincarnation of Matt Ryan. And I think he's cursed for the rest of his career with that. And you can at me. I think Drew Lock will be the next Matt Ryan.
Well, Matt Ryan was good. He made it to a Super Bowl. He's a good quarterback.
Well, yeah, we'll have to keep that one in the vault. 10 years from now, we might post a box score story, and
we'll probably get bought out by Barstool or ESPN or something by then. So,
definitely.
By
we
then,
we might buy ESPN.
It might become not ESPN, TBS. We might be the new TBS.
But yeah, I got the Raiders in that game as well. Danko division game, Seahawks Rams.
As much as the Seahawks killed me last week, probably Seahawks again because I hate the Rams. Every bit of the Rams I hate.
Well, Danko didn't say it, but this is my Aidan Mastandria basketball lock of the week. Seahawks plus 1.5. The Seahawks are underdogs. They lose one game and all of a sudden they're underdogs. That is outrageous. Seahawks plus 1.5. Seahawks money line. Whatever you want to do, they are winning this game. The Rams lost to the Dolphins. I mean, come on.
Well, what scares me is Aaron Donald because Wilson under pressure is not Russell Wilson.
He's played against him enough in his career. He knows him.
Yeah. This is going to be a very close game. This is the thing with the NFC West. All these games are going to continue to be close. I think Sean McVay comes up with a great game plan against the Seahawks. He's going to expose that defense with his little screens and, little dump-off passes. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. However, Seahawks offense is going to be too much for the Rams in the end, to be honest. And I don't think they're going to lose twice in a row. I think Russ is going to get back to cooking again. So Seahawks win.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Seahawks too. It's going to be a close game just because of their defense. Their defense is awful, but yeah, the Seahawks will win. Remo, your Steelers playing the Bengals at home.
I mean, this is going to be like a one-score game, to be honest. They're going to play like shit against them. I already know. I think Burrow's gonna like do somewhat well. I think the pressure's gonna start to get to him. Bud Dupree and TJ Watt are both gonna have a day. So I think Burrow will struggle a little bit. We're gonna see him turn the ball over a few times. But then again, I think he'll keep his team in the game, and Steelers are gonna probably keep the Bengals in the game themselves. But they've been finishing games all year. They're gonna move on to 9-0. I know Aidan hates to hear that, but that's what's gonna happen.
I am going to say something that you do not like here, Remo.
I already knew it. You're gonna say the Bengals.
Look, I've been pretty solid on my upsets lately. This is my upset of the week. The Steelers aren't going to go 16-0, regardless of what you want to say. They're going to lose.
Maybe.
And they're going to lose a couple. They're not going to go 15-1. I don't see them as a 15-1 team. And again, like you said, they're going to keep the team. They're going to keep teams in the game. And Joe Burrow, this is going to be a coming out party for Joe Burrow. He's going to get a big win. T. Higgins, he's probably going to get about 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, probably. He's going to have a huge day. And but in all seriousness, I do think the Bengals are going to win. The Steelers are bound to lose, and I think this is going to be fun.
I got Steelers. I think it's gonna come down to James Conner. I mean, James Conner fucked me in the ass last week against the fucking Dallas defense.
The game is not going to come down to James Conner.
Oh, no, 100%.
You feel like irrelevant.
It will 100%, because James Conner gets it grounded and pounded, and that will mean that the Steelers will get a lead, and when the Steelers get a lead, then they do good. If Joe Burrow comes out flinging and they're down 14-0 in the second quarter, then they're done.
Burrow's going to turn the ball over like 3 times against that defense. I think the Steelers win easily. But Aidan, 49ers Saints. Come on, you.
I got the Saints. Fuck the Saints. The Saints are nothing. They're nothing. They're going to get the 1 seed. They're going to be the first 1 seed to lose in the first round, even though they don't have a first round game. That's how terrible they are. All right. Take the Saints this week, though. Nothing.
I'm not sure how much sense that made, but
I just hate the Saints. Anything against the Saints is.
The Niners will probably make this a close game. I feel like the Saints are another team. Like, they just underperform at times like this. And the Niners have nothing.
They're just not that good.
Yeah, the Niners have nothing at all. But, the Saints are going to get the job done. The Niners aren't beating anybody with Nick Mullins and half a defense on the field. So, I think Drew Brees continues to spread the ball around, 9 different targets. And I think Michael Thomas, this is the game. We're going to see him back to his old self here, bouncing back from injury. Saints win.
Yeah, Saints. Easy. 49ers are done.
Yeah, this is my Magic 8 Ball lock of the week. You got the Saints over the 49ers.
Good luck, yeah.
Sunday night football.
Oh, we're only on Sunday? Damn. We've been doing this forever.
Yeah, there's like a lot of 4 o'clock games this week. I don't know why that is.
This is, again, another long-ass episode, which I'm fine with. I really think
Might be the longest. I'm looking at the time right now. It's getting up there.
Really?
But real quick, Danko, Ravens Patriots on Sunday night.
Not to bring more props out, but
It's 'cause everyone brings out props. That's why it's taking so long.
do I have to say anything else? I mean, Ravens -7. I mean, come on. If Bill Belichick didn't. First of all, they shouldn't have won that game against the Jets. They gave the Jets every opportunity to win that game, and the Jets still couldn't do it. So, I mean, Belichick's going to throw this game. They don't want to have a good record. There's no point. I don't know where Aidan went, but
Comes another prop. I'm waiting for it.
Probably plugging in his computer again. It's probably about to die.
it's Ravens -7. It's not even going to be close.
Yeah, I had to plug in my computer again. Sorry, boys.
Yeah, I'm just gonna admit it now. I've been kind of sticking with the Patriots. They suck. It's over. It's over. But
What's the Monday night game?
yeah, it's just
Ravens,
Ravens will dominate. They're gonna win.
This isn't really a good game. I think we all know who's going to win. But Vikings-Bears on Monday night.
Well, all I'm going to say is I got the Bosu Ball lock of the week.
Remo, you need a
I
prop,
got
bro.
the Vikings. Dalvin's going to rush for 150 and 2 touchdowns along with like 60 in the air. Big day. Dalvin's going to continue to cook. And the Vikings are going to win. I was on the Bears train, but they're terrible.
Yeah. Man, this is gonna be a close game. The Vikings are starting to get a little bit hot. Dalvin, don't think he's gonna have quite the performance he has had, but he'll do well. He'll do well. I like Dalvin. He's good. But as long as Dalvin at least establishes a run like he's been doing, they'll be fine. If Kirk has to pass, it's over. They're gonna lose. I don't think that's what's gonna happen. I think the Bears' offense sucks, and I think the Vikings will win because they'll establish the run.
This is my body spray game of the week because Dalvin Cook is very suave. And I say that he is suave because he's elusive. And suave is a synonym for elusive, not a synonym. I think Vikings -3. Almost better than Seahawks last week, which didn't hit, but that's irrelevant. Vikings -3 is free money.
I don't know if I'd listen to this guy anymore, but
No, he's right on
Sure.
that. He's right.
Yep, I'm going with the Vikings as well. So, guys, I think that was a pretty good show. Really entertaining. Had a lot of sponsors tonight toward the end, but
And we did, and I don't know. I'm liking I'm just here having a good time talking about sports with my boys. I'm sorry if the length, and we got the timestamps, so just use the timestamps. You don't want to hear something? You don't want to talk about college football? Fine.
Well, what we can do is instead of the timestamps, we can just split them up into different videos.
we don't have to make a whole plan. And this doesn't have to be part of our podcast. We could just wrap. This is getting long.
that's true. That is true. All right, everybody.
Inside look. Who knows? Maybe they want that.
Signing off.
This is a part that nobody is gonna watch. Nobody's watching
We're
this.
going to watch this part, and we're also going to make a TikTok soon. And once everyone's home from college, we're going to start making TikToks. So just stay tuned.
Yeah, I'm hope everyone enjoyed this episode. I really do.
Everyone buy the box score stock.
Also,
We're going public in a month, baby.
Everyone-
About to start.
yes, I agree with that. Everyone also hit up the comments and at Jack Share. We need to find this kid. We don't know where he's
Where's
lost.
Jack?
We're actually concerned. We have no idea where the
Somebody can tell us where Jack is. That would be great. But
If you're currently in Jack Share's Star Wars Club on Tuesday nights, tell him that we need him. All right. God.
Yeah.
All
all
right.
right, everybody.
See ya.
Peace out.